Everyone dreams of owning a luxury car, the leather, the gadgets, the badge that turns heads. But when you see a Jaguar XF cheaper than a Ford Focus or a Maserati Ghibli for under £20,000, you need to ask yourself one thing: why are they so cheap? Here's the truth: those bargains hide crippling repair bills, failing engines, fragile suspensions and electronics that can leave you stranded. That's why in this video, I'll reveal 7 luxury cars that look tempting on the used market, but are really financial traps waiting to happen. And trust me, the one at number 1 was once the king of prestige in Britain. But today, dealers can't shift them fast enough. 7. Volvo XC90. The Volvo XC90 has long been praised as one of the safest, most family-friendly SUVs in Britain. 3 rows of seats, minimalist Scandinavian design, and a 5-star safety record made it look like the perfect alternative to German rivals. But the early second-generation models, they turned into money pits in disguise. The biggest headaches come from the electronics. Owners report infotainment screens going dark, glitching sensors, and even full system crashes where the digital dashboard shuts off completely. These faults aren't just annoying, they can knock out navigation, climate control, and even safety features. Repairs aren't cheap either. Replacement modules and software updates can easily run into the thousands of pounds. Then there's the gearbox. Early T6 petrols and certain diesels are notorious for jerky shifts, delayed engagement, or full transmission failure. A replacement will set you back £4,000 to £6,000. Add in failing air suspension struts and worn-out control arms, and that affordable used Volvo quickly starts draining your wallet dry. And depreciation? Brutal. Once warranties expire, values nosedive, because everyone knows what's coming. Big bills, repeated breakdowns, endless frustration. Families who thought they were upgrading often sold them on at a loss within just a couple of years. Yes, the XC90 still looks tempting on the used lot. But unless you've got deep pockets, it's less safe family car and more financial trap. But if you think a Swedish SUV is risky, just wait until you see the Italian saloon that lures buyers with passion and style, then empties their wallets. 6. Maserati Ghibli. Few car names sound as seductive as Maserati. The badge whispers Italian passion, exotic design, and an exhaust note that can make even a quick drive to Tesco feel like a grand tour. The Ghibli was supposed to be the accessible way into this world, a mid-sized luxury saloon aimed at tempting buyers away from BMWs and Mercedes. On the surface, it worked. Sleek styling, Ferrari-linked engines, and that unmistakable Trident badge. But peel back the glamour, and the Ghibli reveals itself as one of the riskiest purchases you can make on the used market. The early twin-turbo V6 engines are plagued with issues: oil leaks, timing chain wear, and cooling system failures that often appear before 60,000 miles. Add fragile electronics, infotainment screens freezing, random warning lights, faulty sensors, and it starts to feel more like a prototype than a polished product. Then there's maintenance. Even basic servicing is pricey, but when major failures hit, like the ZF gearbox or the adaptive suspension, you're staring at bills that rival a flagship BMW 7 Series or Mercedes S-Class. Worse still, parts availability in the UK is poor. Many owners wait weeks for components, even for relatively simple repairs. Depreciation? Savage. Used Ghiblis in the UK can now be found for under £20,000. Tempting on paper, until you realise most sellers are simply desperate to escape the repair bills. What looks like a bargain quickly becomes a financial sinkhole. Yes, the Ghibli turns heads, and its exhaust note is pure theatre. But behind the wheel, ownership feels less like a dream and more like a constant battle with your wallet. But the Italian drama is nothing compared to a German flagship that drains bank accounts as fast as it drains fuel. 5. Audi A8. The Audi A8 was always sold as the discreet flagship saloon. Understated looks, quattro confidence in any weather, and an interior that felt like a first-class lounge. For years, it was the clever executive's choice. Less flashy than a Mercedes S-Class, less brash than a BMW 7 Series. But on the used market today, the D4 generation A8 has become less of a smart buy and more of a luxury money pit. The main issue? Complexity. This car is basically a rolling IT department. Owners regularly report endless electrical gremlins, adaptive suspension warnings, frozen MMI screens, malfunctioning cameras, and random error lights that refuse to clear. Audi rarely repairs individual parts. They replace entire modules. That means a small glitch can instantly turn into a £1,000 bill, and those add up frighteningly fast. The engines aren't much better. Diesel versions suffer from weak timing chain tensioners, which when they fail can wreck the engine long before 100,000 miles. Petrol V8s are infamous for burning oil at shocking rates, sometimes needing a litre top-up every 600 to 800 miles. And then there's the air suspension. Glorious when new, but notorious for sagging, leaking, or collapsing altogether as it ages. Replacing it? Expect £3,000 to £5,000. Depreciation is brutal. Cars that once cost £80,000 new now change hands for £12,000 to £15,000. Sounds like a bargain, until one major failure wipes out the entire value overnight. That's why so many end up dumped at auctions or sold for parts. The irony is cruel. The A8 was meant to be the safe alternative to flashier flagships. Instead, it's a painful reminder that sometimes too much tech can make even the cleverest luxury car a liability. And while the A8 is bad, Jaguar's attempt to rival the Germans turned out even worse, one of the most unreliable saloons on UK roads. Number 4. Jaguar XF. When Jaguar launched the XF, it was supposed to drag the brand into the modern era. Sleek design, British charm, and a clear mission to challenge the German giants. For a while, it worked. Executives loved the badge, fleet buyers snapped them up, and many thought they were getting an S-Class experience at half the price. But on today's used market, the XF has become one of the riskiest bets you can make. The problems begin under the bonnet. The diesel engines, like the 2.2 and 3.0 V6, are infamous for EGR valve failures, clogged DPFs, and turbo blowouts, often striking before 80,000 miles. Petrol models aren't safe either, with timing chain, stretch, and cooling issues leaving countless UK drivers stranded. Gearboxes, especially the early ZF automatics, frequently develop jerks, hesitation, or outright failure well before their expected lifespan. Electronics are no better. Infotainment screens freezing, random warning lights, malfunctioning sensors. Many XF owners describe it as like driving with a Christmas tree dashboard. Fixing these faults isn't cheap. A failed turbo or ECU can set you back thousands, often more than the car is even worth by the time it happens. Depreciation has been merciless. Cars that once sold for £45,000 new are now commonly found for under £6,000. Tempting. Only until you realize most of them are being dumped the moment repair bills start piling up, leaving the next buyer holding the grenade. The sad reality? The XF was meant to put Jaguar back on top. Instead, it cemented the brand's reputation for style without substance. But the shock doesn't stop there, because even Lexus, famed for reliability, built a luxury car that's now a money trap in Britain. 3. Lexus LS. The Lexus LS has long been praised as Japan's answer to the Mercedes S-Class. Whisper-quiet cabins, silky V8 engines, and Toyota's reputation for reliability made it sound like the perfect luxury saloon. In theory, it should have been the safe alternative to risky German flagships. But in the UK used market, the 4th generation LS has quietly become a financial trap. The first problem? Complexity meets cost. The LS is loaded with advanced features: air suspension, adaptive dampers, hybrid drive systems that work beautifully when new but cost a fortune once they start failing. Air struts and compressors can easily hit £1,500 per corner, meaning a full system replacement runs to £5,000 or more. Hybrid models add another layer of expense: batteries degrading early, inverter issues, and cooling system failures that can run into thousands. Then there's the depreciation. While Lexus nailed reliability on simpler models like the IS or RX, the LS never sold in big numbers in Britain. That means weak demand in the used market, and cars that cost £80,000 new are now often sitting at £10,000 to £12,000. Sounds tempting, but the moment a suspension or hybrid fault appears, the bargain disappears overnight. Even the supposedly bulletproof V8s aren't without issues. Oil leaks, injector problems, and timing chain stretch all crop up on higher mileage examples. Combine that with complex electronics, early infotainment failures, faulty sensors, and dashboard glitches, and you quickly learn that keeping one of these on the road isn't cheap. The cruel irony? The LS was supposed to be Lexus's flagship of dependability. Instead, in the UK, it's a car that depreciates like a rock and punishes anyone who dares to buy one used. If that surprised you, wait until you see a British icon with a legendary badge that hides running costs so extreme. Even the wealthy walk away. 2. Bentley Continental GT. Few cars scream British luxury like the Bentley Continental GT. Handcrafted interiors, a legendary badge, and a W12 engine that promised effortless power. For many in the UK, it was the ultimate dream car, the one you pictured outside a Mayfair hotel or cruising the M1 in style. But those dreams quickly turn into nightmares. The early 6.0-litre twin-turbo W12 is notorious for oil leaks, cooling faults, and coil pack failures. Even basic repairs require hours of labour, with annual servicing often £1,500 to £2,000 and major jobs easily hitting 5 figures. And the electronics? Just as painful. Infotainment glitches, random warning lights, failing sensors, plus the infamous air suspension. Leaking struts or dead compressors can leave your Bentley squatting on its wheels, with repairs costing £5,000 or more. Then comes depreciation. Cars that sold new for over £120,000 now sit at £20,000 to £25,000. Sounds like a bargain, until one repair bill wipes out the car's entire value. That's why cheap Continentals litter eBay and backstreet lots, waiting for an unlucky buyer to take the bait. The Continental GT proves a harsh truth. A luxury badge doesn't guarantee reliable luxury. More often, it means unpredictable costs that can drain your wallet overnight. And if you think a Bentley is brutal, wait until you see the #1 car, a flagship so prestigious it's called the King of Luxury. Yet it can bankrupt owners even faster. Number 1. Mercedes S-Class. For decades, the Mercedes S-Class has been the king of luxury saloons. Quiet, refined, packed with tech. It set the standard for everyone else. But buy one used today, especially a W221 or early W222, and you'll see why so many now sell for hatchback money. The running costs are terrifying. The first killer is suspension. The automatic system feels like magic when new, but once age sets in, corners sag, struts leak, and compressors fail without warning. Each corner costs £1,500 to £2,000, and when several go at once, you're staring at a £6,000+ repair bill. Then come the electronics. These S-Classes were stuffed with early driver aids, adaptive cruise, night vision, and some of the most complex wiring ever fitted to a car. As they age, owners face endless warning lights, frozen infotainment, and blind spot systems cutting out. Diagnostics alone run £150 an hour before repairs even begin. Engines aren't safe either. Diesels clog their DPFs, V8s drink oil and suffer timing chain wear, and the 4.7-litre biturbo is infamous for turbo seal failures. Major repairs range from £5,000 to £12,000, often more than the car is worth. Depreciation seals the deal. A car that once cost £100,000 plus can now be had for £12,000 to £18,000. Sounds like a steal, until one repair wipes out that saving overnight. The S-Class proves the harsh truth. What looks like affordable luxury is often a financial trap dressed in leather and chrome. Luxury cars promise prestige, comfort, and status. But as you've just seen, many turn into financial traps the moment they leave the showroom. Have you ever owned one of these so-called bargains? Did it live up to the badge or drain your wallet dry? Let me know in the comments. If this video saved you from making an expensive mistake, hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more no-nonsense car truths. And share this with a mate who's shopping for a cheap luxury car. You might just save them thousands.